Yes, he's there.
Mr. Peter Cox from Go West.
Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. How are you, my friend?
Yes, not too bad, thanks. Suffering with the hay fever a little bit, but it's a beautiful day, so you can't complain, really.
Ah, good. So you've got some nice sunshine. Are you in the south of England?
Yes, sorry.
Sorry, I won't say specifically where, because had loads of messages from so many women that they might start, even though they'll social distance outside your house, queuing up and waiting for a ticket. Lots of gigs having to be postponed, Pete, and obviously in this scenario, and a lot of people had tickets for the Robin 2 in Bilston, which has sort of become an annual event for you guys, but that's going to be rerun in December, isn't it?
At the moment, the date is scheduled for December, but obviously, you know, as we all know, nothing is definite. The future is very uncertain. So, yes, hoping that we're going to see everyone in Wolves in December.
Excellent. How are you keeping your vocals going during lockdown? Do you do anything special while you're at home?
Not special, really. I just sing scales at home. I was on a bill with... oh God, I can't think of his name now. Australian singer, help me, Suze. When I Need You, Leo Sayer.
Leo Sayer.
And he was absolutely awesome. And I had to say to him after his performance, man, that was fantastic. Your voice sounds great. And he said, sing every day, sing every day. So yeah, just some scales, just annoy the neighbours.
I'm sure you don't annoy the neighbours at all. Leo's incredible, isn't he? I'm just wondering how old he is. He's got to be getting near to 80, hasn't he? Late 70s, I would think.
If you're asking me, I don't know. I'd say he was in his 70s, and as I say, yeah, there was no evidence of decline in the vocal performance. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's such an energetic force. He's a massive Formula One fan. I used to bump into him all the time on the Australian paddock when I was covering that, and a charity that I work for as well. And Leo Sayer, it's just it's great fun. Pete, the 80s thing, I was just thinking about this last night. It's still so strong and vivid in everybody's minds. And you've got Rewind, I know, that's supposed to be, like you say, happening in August, whether it will or not, hopefully it will. You're on the bill of so many different 80s festivals and cruise liners, and it's celebrated as a decade. Why do you think it's celebrated so much still?
Well, I think that every era has a generation that grew up with that music. So, you know, there's still people who grew up with the music of the 70s and so on. And I think that that generation that might possibly have fallen in love to that music, the soundtrack of their teenage years, now they've had their family and they've grown up, and now they might have before all this happened, they might have had a bit more downtime where they wanted to relive those memories a little bit. And obviously I'm bound to say, as a songwriter, that I hope it's because the songs have stood the test of time, really. Yeah,
and of the songs that I've seen you several times, it's always bang full of energy, and a great band that Go West is, and it looks like you all get on and enjoy playing so much, and still, because obviously, you know, a lot of your songs now, we're sort of 35 years old, aren't they? We Close Our Eyes, 1985, I think.
Yeah. This is our 35th anniversary this year. It was going to be a big celebration. We're going to put it off until 2021, yeah.
Okay, well, look forward to that. And of all your songs, do you still enjoy playing them all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, those songs have been very good to us. I had a hand in writing almost everything that we play live. And yeah, I mean, it's when the audience is singing the chorus back to me of a song that I wrote 35 years ago, life is pretty good, really.
And going back to that year, 1985, it must have been, if we can just sort of really transport you back 35 years ago, how incredible was that year? And can you remember how you felt? Because it seemed to me, from everything that you were doing, that your life must have just exploded.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like hundreds of other bands, we've been trying for literally years to get a record deal. I was 29 when we got signed, so it wasn't as if I was, you know, a teenager. And yeah, it was just a blur, an absolute blur. It was a thrill. And I can remember being in the Go Westmobile, which was a shabby old yellow Fiat with the driver door tied on with a piece of rope. And we drove over Kew Bridge and we closed our eyes, came on the radio, and we just had to stop and say, wow, this is really happening. And then 85 after that, you know, I traveled to Japan, I went to America, you know, it was really a lot of things that I hadn't even really dreamed that I might ever do. So it was an amazing year, but if I'm honest, there's a lot of it that I don't really remember. Life was moving really fast then, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess when you're in that, you think that that's your life. And was there any sense that that was how it was going to roll and it would never end? Or could you sort of pinch yourself?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people made that mistake. You know, we've been trying for a long time, suddenly had some success, and, you know, for 5 minutes there, all the trappings of being hashtag pop star. Thanks for that, by the way. Yeah.
Sorry.
And you think, yeah, this is amazing, and you know, I think rather subconsciously you expect that it's going to last forever, and then of course 3 months later, after the singles from your album have been and gone, and you notice that people aren't looking at you funny on the bus the way they were 6 weeks previously. So yeah, it does come and go pretty quickly.
It's a fickle industry, isn't it? It's a very difficult industry, I think, to survive in. And you know, you guys are still packing out the concerts, and a lot of people getting very excited about coming to see you, and you have such an amazing reputation. You know, I look at some of the bills that you're on, I think there's definitely some voices on there that ain't that good live, but I know you can't say that, but I think I'm allowed to. What kind of music, I wonder what kind of music you listen to, because you've played across a lot of genres. I mean, obviously the sort of pop side of it is the blue-eyed soul, but you know, The King is Dead is more jazz feel.
Yeah.
I was listening yesterday to you sing, who do you think, it's gone, who do you think of John Mayer?
Who did you think I was?
Who do you think I was? Thank you.
Yeah.
Which is very much a kind of rock blues type of song. So what do you like playing, and what do you listen to?
Yeah, I mean, I think my earliest influences when I was a teenager would have been 70s blues rock. But when you mention The King is Dead, I think that Richard and I were definitely listening to a lot of Steely Dan at the time. You couldn't exactly say it was a good decision to aim in that direction with our second album, but we did want to make an album that distanced us. It wasn't the best idea in the world, but we felt that we had been packaged in a certain way, which we hadn't prepared for at all, to be pop stars. You know, to be sitting at a photo shoot and have someone putting mascara on me and then asking me if I thought it looked good. How on earth would I know? Never ever having worn any makeup prior to that day. So yeah, when we made the second album, we wanted to show that we were serious musicians, if you like, which was somewhat to our cost. But yeah, so Steely Dan then, and I'm listening to Donald Fagen when I'm doing my hilarious bodyweight workout here at home. But other than that, yeah, John Mayer certainly. I mean, but John Mayer's got a lot of blues in his influences, I think. But I try to, you know, social media does make you aware of more contemporary artists just because they pop up in your timeline or whatever. So there's a fantastic young singer called Donna Missel from New York who's just awesome. We were planning to play a cover of hers in the shows this year, but we never even got back to rehearsal because of what's happened. So yeah, I mean, I try to keep aware of things that are happening now, as long as they appeal to my sensibilities. Yeah.
That's quite interesting. So do you feel like, because obviously the whole music streaming debate, it can be quite contentious sometimes.
Yeah.
But in terms of seeing new artists and being able to discover new artists, is it easier than it used to be, would you say?
To discover them, I think it must be tough if you are young and starting out now, because yeah, there are all kinds of platforms where you can make your music available to your audience. But if that audience doesn't know about the music that you've made, then you can make the best record in the world and very few people might ever hear it. So yeah, I mean, I think it's tricky, but you have to do this kind of thing, which I've never done before. And a lot of people are, you know, living on social media. And I guess that is, someone said to me just recently that now that there are fewer, if any, record labels for anyone who's not right at the top of the ladder, your delivery engine is social media. And so, of course, the people that can make that work for them the best will likely be more successful.
Yeah, it's a kind of extraordinary time we're in, obviously, with this virus going on, but a lot of people turning to social media for company, and a lot of artists live streaming. Narina Palo does, I know you're quite a fan of Narina, she does a really beautiful session on a Thursday night called the Hold Tight Sessions.
Yeah.
And she's extraordinary. I never tire of listening to her. Have you considered doing any live streaming?
Yeah, I've considered it. I've certainly thought about it. As you say, everyone and their brother is doing it now. But I don't have I can't accompany myself. I've never applied myself enough to an instrument to be that good. And as you say, I saw Narina Palo do her Abbey Road session when she played that song Idaho, and I just thought, like as you do, obviously, I thought, wow, what a proper talent. And then, not just a few weeks later, her label dropped her, and you think, how can that be? How can someone that special and that talented not be deemed to be commercially viable? It's very, very strange. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is extraordinary, and she's check her out, by the way, Narina Palo. I can't get any. Have you got any questions?
Yeah, loads of questions coming in.
Okay, please.
Absolutely loads. Gaz George 46 would like to know where your white shirt is.
Oh, Pete,
everybody's asking about the white shirt.
Right, so there's a lot of Pete, there's a lot of people asking about your white shirt, and in fact, I did put a cheeky comment about you ironing your white shirt yesterday.
You did.
And are you related? Is there a Bethany Cox in your family in America?
I'm not related to Beth, but I am aware of her. Yes.
Okay. Because she said, I don't think he does his own ironing, so I thought, well, she must know you if she knows that. But the white shirt thing, can you just give us, if there's any story behind that, or if it just looks magnificent on stage? Why is it white shirt and jeans for Mr. Cox on stage?
Well, yeah, as you say, it's the oddest thing that there never really was any image with Go West, apart from the questionable vest maybe for 5 minutes. But it is the oddest thing that so many people comment on the white shirt, when really I've only gravitated to it because it's the best of a collection of not very appealing options. That's the best I can go. I must say though, because people do comment on it, I have ironed myself into a bloody corner, because now I'm finding I have to endlessly iron shirts when I'm on the road. I should have come up with a good t-shirt that I could just throw on. That would have been a much better idea.
A bit like Richard does with the star on. I'm sure he just rolls his up.
No comment.
Well, you've got to stand next to him, so I'm sure you know all of that. Dan Karam says he's seen you 63 times.
Yeah.
You obviously know him. So I know, because you're quite connected with your fans, aren't you?
Yes, I try to be. I mean, you know, as Dan says, he's seen the band 63 times. You know, you can't really fail to notice when you meet someone that often at the back of the stage door. But yeah, I mean, we do have amazing fans. I know every artist says that same thing, but they really have been very constant, and you do see a number of the same faces it shows, not least of which your very own. Thank you very much.
Oh no, it's always a joy to come in and see you, and transports me straight back to some great years, obviously mid-80s, the early 90s, and would be remiss for me to not mention the King of Wishful Thinking, which was obviously massively and huge in the States, on the Pretty Woman's soundtrack. When you look back at that, how do you think of that song?
Well, fondly, obviously, but yeah, that was the first song that we wrote for what became our Indian Summer album after a year in the wilderness, when we'd fallen out with our UK record company and weren't really sure what, if anything, was going to happen. And the guy who originally signed us, who then moved on to America, called and said, "Where's the next album? What are you doing?" Salvaged us from that situation. We wrote The King of Wishful Thinking with another expat, Martin Page, who lives in LA. And it was just around that time that Touchstone had approached EMI America for the soundtrack to the movie Pretty Woman. And so obviously we benefited to some extent from really being in the right place at the right time. I think so much of that does happen in the music industry. We were just lucky, really, to be included in that album. So when the album came out, they put us on the first time ever, because in those times you would travel around the country visiting radio stations, in the hope of persuading them to play your song. And we did that, sharing a hotel room for the first time for a long time. And, you know, we were not spring chickens by then. So that was a test of the relationship. And as you know yourself, often in this scenario, the interviews are in drive time. So you're on the radio at 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. Thank goodness I was never prevailed upon to sing live then, although I've seen any number of artists doing that. 7 a.m. respect. That's not an easy thing to do. And it was hard. That was a hard slog. I don't know how many weeks we did of that, 6, 7, 8 weeks, but we did finally have a hit US single after many years of trying.
Yeah, and it was, and what a cracking song it is too. Still very much stands the best of test of time, doesn't it? Just going to pick out a few of these. Oh, Geordie Lodger, have you got
Julian Russell would like to know if he's going to hook up with Gary Barlow and the Gary Barlow on Instagram.
Are you going to hook up with Gary? Has Gary Barlow contacted you to do his crooner sessions that he does? Because he should. He
hasn't. We wrote a song with Gary called Determination for the soundtrack of the Fly movie about Eddie the Eagle, and we performed it live, one-off, along on a bill with a number of other artists who were playing their songs from that soundtrack album. And Gary was at the side of the stage, and it wasn't my finest hour, so maybe he's thought, let's just not do that.
Oh, well, I hope not. I'd love to see you do that. My username is Robin. Would like to know the first album that you bought, please, Pete.
It would have been Tighten Up Volume 2. There's an album that will mean nothing to anybody. It was a reggae compilation album. When I was 13, 14, that was the music of my little peer group. So, yeah, Tighten Up Volume 2. I'm trying to think if there's a single on there that would mean anything to anyone who isn't 55 or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So a lot of people shouting out what the live concert doing.
Yeah. I don't know how we're going to have to work out on social media how to get Richard and the boys singing from their places and split the screen on Zoom, I think, to do a live gig, Pete. Carol Campbell would like to know, loved your concert with Tony Hadley. Tone, are you any plans to team up again?
It's tricky. I mean, obviously, from my point of view, I would love to do that. And Tony is, you know, a good friend of mine, and I think he'd be up for it, but I also think that Tone has worked really, really hard to establish himself as a solo artist. And as you can see on the festival bills, if Tony's on the bill, he's typically headlining. So from his point of view, it might not be deemed to be perhaps the best career move to go on tour with an artist from further down the bill. I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. I'm just saying that's the reality of it. I think we would, because I think particularly if and when concerts ever do start up again, you know, it's about selling tickets and making the whole thing financially viable. Sounds boring, but that's the reality of it. And if Tony's looking at touring with an artist who will put bums on seats, I might not necessarily be that person.
Well, let's see. I'll disagree with you there in a nice way.
Well,
it'll be lovely to see you guys together. Mark 61, Pete, you're right up there with Paul Rodgers vocally. That's my favourite. That's what Mark's saying. Free, you liked Free, didn't you? I think. Yeah,
that was the band I was alluding to earlier when I said 70s rock. Yeah, Rogers is, for me, Paul Rodgers is still the best male singer this country has ever produced. But you know, that was the Free Live album was an album that, you know, in the days of vinyl when you didn't have very much money, I mean, at that time I could have attempted to replicate every single note and ad lib of the vocals on that album. I knew it really inside out. So to be mentioned in the same sentence is very flattering. Thank you very much.
That's yeah, that's I live free as well. Georgie Lodger, while I'm got my head down, have you got a question for Pete?
Off the top, well, actually, we were debating this last night, weren't we? We were debating.
Roll with this, Pete.
we were debating last night. It was the greatest song ever written and sang, and you were coming out with suggestions that I haven't even got a clue about.
Yes.
So, Peter, can I play you my suggestion of the greatest song ever, please, and see what you think?
Go for it.
Excellent. 1 second.
Sorry.
Suzi's shaking her head.
Can you hear it?
It's a bit difficult to make out what it is.
You've got.
Sorry.
Stop, Georgie.
Jimmy Neal, ain't no doubt, has to be the greatest song ever written. Discuss.
Right, let me just, I'm not even sure, I didn't even hear the title of the song. What is it? Sorry.
It's
Jimmy Neal.
It's Jimmy Nail.
Ah, Jimmy Nail.
Ain't no doubt.
It's a regional bias, I understand now.
It's the greatest song ever written.
It's all regional bias from him. Everything he listens to. It's either that or PJ and Duncan. So, you know what? We did save you at least from Let's Get Ready to Rumble. Peter, it's been absolutely lovely that you popped by on the Breakfast Club. I know a lot of people will be smiling all day having seen you and heard your dulcets. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I hope that lockdown is going all right. Has there been any revelations for you during lockdown? Any new creativity? Any thoughts?
I must say, actually, that the situation that we find ourselves in is not making me feel particularly inspired to be creative. I'm feeling, you know, anxiety, as I imagine a lot of other people are. So I don't really have a revelation except to say that, you know, God bless the NHS, which is an obvious thing to say, but, you know, so brave. It's just so brave. I can't even imagine, you know, so, and I've had a few running repairs over the last 3 decades. So, you know, I really do, you know, appreciate everything that they're doing. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. Stay well and stay safe. And we hope that the next time we see you will be face-to-face rather than this virtual face-to-face life that we're all living. And thank you, Pete. Have a good day. Lots of
Thanks,
love from the Breakfast Club, from everybody here to you. Big kiss. Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, that was absolutely a joy, wasn't it, to speak to Pete? Some great stories there. And yeah, hopefully that Rewind Festival will happen in August. Although I'm not sure with big groups of people that it's going to be happening so soon. Tomorrow, by the way, hopefully Mark Blundell might be popping into the Breakfast Club. Just going through my head to see who's in on Thursday, I can't think. Friday, yesterday we secured a certain young James Toseland who's going to actually play live on the Breakfast Club. And then Saturday, Steve Bull is popping in and we're going to have a bit of a footballing show on Saturday. What have I missed out? Geordie Ledge? Geordie Ledge?
Geordie Ledge.
That's definitely not.
That is sticking. That's
That
better
is
than
not. One letter has changed. The ego now is coming out of the kitchen terrace. Lots of people saying how lovely Peter is. He is just a fantastic, lovely, lovely man. So super talented. Stash 19, top bloke, yes. I've never known to say your name. Oh, the Welsh, lovely Welsh guy. What a blooming nice guy. Damn straight he is too. Mike Hewlett, that's Lake Hewlett from Spain. Thanks Pete. Thanks Pete from Dan Cower. That's Dan Cower who's been to see Go West 67 times, I think he said. That's a lot. Jodie Allen, she's a massive Go West fan. I've watched and hung out with Jodie watching the band. Lisa Loves MotoGP's on. Chiswick Dog Walkers are on. All loving Pete this morning. And Lee Spelzini is laughing at Jimmy Nail. Do you know Jimmy Nail personally? Because you all know each other in Newcastle. Why don't you get him on?
I'm going to try to.
There's a lot of people loving the whole Jimmy Nail thing.
Jimmy Nail's a legend. He's the greatest singer-songwriter ever.
This is what I have to live with, ladies and gentlemen. So it is, 25 to 10 your time, 25 to 11 my time. I'm going to love you and leave you because I need to have a little think about Supper Club. where we will be speaking to the Wrench racer Alex Briggs tonight about the likes of Mick Doohan, Valentino Rossi, the paddock in general, life on the road, being an Aussie, hanging out with, you know, the Brits in the paddock and all that kind of stuff. That's at 9 o'clock your time. And so, unless I've missed anything?
No, I think it's...
G-Lo?
G-Ledge.
No, not G-Ledge.
G-Ledge.
How many names can one person have? Guys, have yourself a really great... Oh, it's the Queen's birthday today, so happy birthday, Your Majesty. And if she had a #1 hit, she still wouldn't be the oldest person to have a #1 in the UK, because that is Captain Tom Moore and Michael Ball, #1 at the age of 99. That's Tom Moore, not Michael Ball. He won't thank me for saying that. Anyway, from Suzi's Breakfast Club, from France, from the lockdown to your lockdown, we hope that we have lightened the lockdown for you today just a little bit. Any suggestions, feel free to send in your messages. Anybody you'd like to hear from until tomorrow morning, or until the Supper Club later, if you're going to join here live at 9 o'clock from me to you, because they say